Hello, I'm live. My son is back on. Welcome to the quiz. As usual, if you're tuning in later when it's not live, feel free to look at the description where there will be a timestamp to the questions. Hello, Pierrot. But in the meantime, I'm going to start spamming this around as usual. Hello, second person who's tuned in. Spam to the Facebook page is the first place to spam to. I need to post on the event. How do I post on the event? How to post? Oh, Facebook, why have you changed everything? Upcoming events. That event. So if I post there, okay, cool. And on my backlit keyboard, I can actually see it. Actually, that's something else I normally do. Just turn on that one. Yeah, now I can see better. Very disorganized today. All right. Where is the thing? Man, Facebook is not making it easy for me. So that's the event I've posted on. Good, fine. That's not the event. That's some ancient event. That's the current event, which I have now posted on. Good. How do I do a normal post there? Good. Okay, fine. Big create post button. Done. Good. Right. Hello, everybody. Now I've got the Facebook page done. I need to just do a couple more things. Spamity spam. Okay, cool. Hello, Simone. That's okay. Online uni collaboration. Sounds serious. Hello, Nikki. All right. Where else do I need to post? Yes, I'm a bit discombobulated because I came home and my son hadn't done all the kinds of things he's meant to do when he comes home. So I had to start my evening by basically telling him off and having him be grumpy. So that's a bit annoying. But anyway, that's life with a teenager. What else do I need to do? Thinking. Oh, yes, there's one last place I need to spam the link. Hello, everybody who's tuned in. We'll be starting in about 4 minutes' time. At about 7:35 p.m. my time, whatever that is in your time. I don't know. Later, Matt says, don't talk to me about teenagers. Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking next year I'll have 2 teenagers in the house. How exciting. Why are you not connecting? Connect. Okay, done. Why have you got noises on? Turn the noises off. Good. Okay, done. I finished spamming the link everywhere. Sorry for cracking my fingers right next to the microphone. I know that freaks some people out. Right, it's a bit cold here. Speaking of cold, that's a much more pleasant sound to have next to the microphone. Tonight, I'm drinking Mountain Goat, very enjoyable beer, simply named, accurately described. What more do you want? Okay, so we're getting started in about 3 minutes' time. I haven't opened up my questions document. That would be good. It would be good if I had some questions to ask. 27th of October. It's even the right date. What do you know? Greatest of all time. Well, I'm a big fan of Valentino Rossi, who's generally considered the greatest of all time, or possibly second greatest of all time in motorcycle racing, second after Agostini. But he's had a heck of a run of it lately, fallen off 3 races in a row, and then he's had to take 2 races off because he got he had a positive coronavirus test. So it's not been his season. But that's who I think of when I see the word GOAT in capitals, greatest of all time. Actually, that reminds me of something which I was going to do. I had forgotten that I was going to do it, and now I'm going to do it. So in the minute or so we have remaining, feel free to grab a drink or something. We'll be getting started soonish. Hello, Meg and Paul and Kim and everybody. Smoked brisket for Pierrot. Wish I had some smoked brisket. Right then. No, wrong button. Okay. Well, I was going to, what the heck? We'll make 11 questions in round 3. Why not? I've been peeking into my homemade shepherd's pie. Hello, Carmen, and presumably John. All right, so we get started very soon at 7:35 now. Quickly run through how it's all going to work for people who don't know or who have forgotten in the meantime. This is, as you'd imagine, pub quiz, hence the name, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz on the Facebook page. But we can't go to the pub because of COVID, although we probably could nowadays. But anyway, we're still doing this. So we're going to have 3 rounds. The first round is 20 questions of relatively easy, not super easy, but relatively easy questions. And then I give you the answers to that round. Then we have round 2, which is another 20 questions of less easy, more difficult questions. And then I give you the answers to those. And then we have round 3, which is our very difficult / silly / trick question round. And tonight we'll have 11 in that round. And if you get any points in that round, you're doing pretty well. And then we'll have a couple of who am I type questions at the end, and that'll wrap it up. Generally takes about an hour and a half. So you don't need to be the fastest person in the comments or anything like that. Just keep track of your answers yourself and mark yourself off when I give the answers at the end of the round. Feel free to share your answers in the YouTube comments if you like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want, or like the Facebook page Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, and you will be informed of future quizzes. Done. I think that's the smoothest I've ever done a housekeeping. Brilliant. Probably because I only just opened my beer and haven't had a swig of it yet. And that was the least smooth I've ever just drunk a beer by pouring half of it into my lap. Excellent. Well, on that note, let's get started with round one, question one. So round one, question one, who is the arch enemy of Austin Powers? Question one, who is the arch enemy of Austin Powers? So that would be the one across all the films, I guess, several films. Why has that changed? Oh, God. Okay, good. Round one, question two. Which word can be used before vest, bean, and quartet? I mean, you could use the word a vest, a bean, a quartet. But I think you know what I mean. There's a word that commonly joins together with those words to make a new thing. So which word can be used before vest, bean, and quartet? Question three. How many keys or valves does a trumpet have? Question three. How many keys or valves does a trumpet have? By keys, I mean the the sort of buttony things, not musical keys, but the keys that you can change the notes. Mechanical keys, I guess you'd call them. Question four. Danish/Norwegian dance group Aqua had only one number one hit, named after which children's toy? Question four. Danish/Norwegian dance group Aqua had only one number one hit, named after which children's toy? See if I can have another swig of my beer without pouring it into my lap. Well done, me. Your daughter goes to sleep listening to that song by Danish-Norwegian dance group Aqua. Wow, that's... I'm not sure that's a good thing. I think falling asleep to any kind of dance music is not generally good. I've recently discovered a genre called dream pop, which is probably well known, but I'm quite fond of a band called Still Corners. If you want a recommendation, look them up. What's their album called? Strange Pleasures. The first track is called The Trip. Anyway, it's quite nice. Probably a good one to fall asleep to. It's sort of synthy poppy with quite nice vocals, female vocals. Norel from hospital. Stephen is playing at home. Norel, why? Okay, so the grey-coloured Norel is Stephen, and the blue-coloured Norel is Norel. I hope you're working at hospital and not incarcerated. What's the word? Anyway, hope you're doing okay. Question five. What is the more common name for the epicarp of an orange? Epicarp. E-P-I-C-A-R-P. Bowel resection. I don't know what that is, but it sounds serious, and I am very pleased that you managed to find the time to come and do trivia while all that's going on. So hope it goes well for you. Question five. What is the more common name for the epicarp? E-P-I-C-A-R-P of an orange. Question six. The Chronicles of Narnia is a series of 7 fantasy novels by which author? Question six. The Chronicles of Narnia is a series of 7 fantasy novels by which author? I tried to zoom, but didn't work. Okay. Question 7. Which car brand has models including the A1, S3, and RS4? Very good. Question 7. Which car brand has models including the A1, that's the Alpha 1, S3, the Sierra 3, and RS4, Romeo Sierra 4? But they're just the letters. I'm just using the phonetic alphabet to explain what letters they are. A1, S3, RS4. What car brand has those models? Okay, 2 people both named Narelle are now arguing in the comments. That's not confusing at all. Question 8. The Third Arab-Israeli War, which took place in 1967, is also known as the How Many Days War? Question 8. The Third Arab-Israeli War, which took place in 1967, is also known as the How Many Days War? Question 9. Which piece of furniture is the star exhibit of the Sigmund Freud Museum in London? Question 9. Which piece of furniture is the star exhibit of the Sigmund Freud Museum in London? Question 10. The Last Train to Clarksville was the debut single for which 60s pop group? There you go. It's not all 80s movies. There's some 60s music as well. Question 10. The Last Train to Clarksville was the debut single for which 60s pop group? I don't know about Clarksville, but I've been to Clarksdale, which is largely considered the birthplace of the Delta Blues. Where is Clarksville? There's a whole bunch of them. There's one in Mississippi. It's probably the one they're talking about, given most rock and roll and blues and stuff comes from there. Right. Question 11. How many dominoes are there in a standard European set? Question 11. How many dominoes are there in a standard European set? There you go. Question 12. The designer Manolo Blahnik is associated with which high-end fashion items? Question 12. The designer Manolo, that's M-A-N-O-L-O, Blahnik, B-L-A-H-N-I-K, is associated with which high-end fashion items? Question 13. Tricky one for round 1. Who is the Roman goddess of fruit and nut trees? Who is the Roman goddess of fruit and nut trees? That's almost a round 3 question, I would have thought. Goddess of fruit trees, gardens, and orchards. She does not have a Greek counterpart. There you go. So question 13. Who is the Roman goddess of fruit and nut trees? Question 14. Clue for question 13. It's not one of the common ones. That's all I can say, really. Don't really have a clue, unfortunately. Question 14. La Divina was the nickname given to which opera singer? Question 14. La Divina, L-A space D-I-V-I-N-A, La Divina, was the nickname given to which opera singer? I guess that means the divine one. Stephen would like question 2 repeated. It was, which word can be used before vest, bean, and quartet to make 3 new common things? Obviously, we're not just looking for the word a or the word, I don't know, any other common word. It's a word that you can use before those 3 things to make 3 more common things. That was question 2. What are we up to now? Question 15. In the UK version of Monopoly, what color is Fleet Street? Question 15. In the UK version of Monopoly, what color is Fleet Street? I have to say, this round 1 started off very easy and then took a savage left turn into obscurity. Question 16. In German, which part of the body is referred to by the word Kopf? K-O-P-F. I'll say that again, K-O-P-F, Kopf. Question 16. In German, which part of the body is referred to by the word Kopf? Question 17. What is the name of the Australian film production company that made The Castle and The Dish? Question 17. What is the name of the Australian film production company that made The Castle and The Dish? Question 18. Who was the manager of Manchester United football team between 1986 and 2013? Question 18. Who was the manager of Manchester United football team between 1986 and 2013? Quite a famous manager. Probably the only football manager that I could name. Right. Question 19. Who developed the first rabies vaccine? Question 19. Who developed the first rabies vaccine? It's actually 2 people. Mostly looking for that famous one, I guess. But if you happen to have the other one, I guess you can have a bonus point. So who developed the first rabies vaccine? Looking for 2 people, and you can have a point for each. Okay, and question 20. The record label and retail store HMV has a logo featuring a dog. So for 1 point, what did HMV originally stand for? And for a bonus point, what was the name of the dog? So question 20, the record label and retail store HMV I don't know if they're even still around, but anyway, they were. They have a logo featuring a dog. What did HMV originally stand for? And for a bonus point, what was the name of the dog? That brings us to the end of round one. If you need any questions repeated, let me know. Otherwise, I'll give you a minute or so to think about those, and then we'll go through the answers. Facebook have now forced me to have the new design, and I know it's trendy to whinge about such things, so I'm doing my best to not whinge about it, but it does seem more annoying to find things. Narelle would like question one repeated. Question one was, who is the arch enemy of Austin Powers? Who is the arch enemy of Austin Powers? Okie dokie. Let's go through the answers to round one. The answers to round one are, round one, question one, who is the arch enemy of Austin Powers? The answer is Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil. Question two was, which word can be used before vest, bean, and quartet? The answer is string. You can have a string vest, a string bean, and a string quartet. You can have a green vest and a green bean. I don't think you can have a green quartet, though. Lima vest. Anyway, baked vest. Question three, how many keys or valves does a trumpet have? It has three. Three little slidey button things. Question four, Danish Norwegian dance group Aqua had only one number one hit, named after which children's toy? The song was, of course, Barbie Girl, named after the toy Barbie. It was the subject of a 2002 lawsuit between Mattel Corp and MCA Records, which was ultimately dismissed. Question five, what's the more common name for the epicarp of an orange? Pretty easy, that one. It's the peel. The peel of an orange, epicarp, epi meaning above, and carp, I guess, meaning skin, perhaps. Question six, The Chronicles of Narnia is a series of 7 fantasy novels by which author? That is C.S. Lewis. Question seven, which car brand has models including the A1, S3, and RS4? The answer is Audi. A-U-D-I, Audi. Question eight, the Third Arab-Israeli War, which took place in 1967 and is also known as the How Many Days War? It is the 6 Days War. 6 days. Question nine, which piece of furniture is the star exhibit of the Sigmund Freud Museum in London? Pretty obvious, this one. It's his couch, or more correctly, his psychoanalytic couch, upon which patients would rest while being asked to say whatever came into their mind without consciously selecting information, which became known as the free association technique. But it's the couch. Question 10, The Last Train to Clarksville was the debut single for which 60s pop group? It was The Monkees. Question 11, how many dominoes are there in a standard European set? There are 28 dominoes. 28. Question 12, the designer Manolo Blahnik is associated with which high-end fashion items? That is shoes. Yet another high-end shoe manufacturer or designer. Question 13, who is the Roman goddess of fruit and nut trees? Did anyone get this? It's Pomona, P-O-M-O-N-A, Pomona. Interesting that unlike pretty much all the other Roman gods, there is no Greek equivalent. Question 14. La Divina was the nickname given to which opera singer? Simone says, never heard of her. Yeah, I've never heard of Pomona either. Not really a round one question. Anyway, La Divina was the nickname given to which opera singer? Hopefully you have heard of Maria Callas. Maria Callas. Narelle, or Stephen, I should say, went with Miranda, as in Carmen Miranda, because of the fruit hat, no doubt. Good thinking, didn't pay off. Question 15. In the UK version of Monopoly, what color is Fleet Street? It is red. Question 16. In German, which part of the body is referred to by the word Kopf? Well, if you got this wrong, you are a Dummkopf. Kopf is the head, as in the shampoo brand Schwarzkopf, which is literally a picture of a black head. Question 10. What is the name of the Australian film production company that made The Castle and the Dish? That is Working Dog or Working Dog Productions. Not Working Title. That's a different mob. That's an English company. Working Dog. Pierrot says, I'm a Dummkopf. You're a Dummkopf. You spelled Kopf wrong. That's anyway. Question 18. Who was the manager of Manchester United football team for a very long time? That is Sir Alex Ferguson. Question 18. Sir Alex Ferguson. Question 19. Who developed the first rabies vaccine? We had two people. The most famous one, of course, would be Louis Pasteur. But given equal credit is somebody called Emile Roux, R-O-U-X, or Emile Roux. So you can have 1 point for each of those. And then question 20, the record label HMV has a logo featuring a dog. Excuse me, what did HMV originally stand for? And for a bonus point, what was the name of the dog? So HMV originally stood for His Master's Voice, which is a reference to the audio fidelity of the recordings, that it's so convincing that the dog thinks it's his master's voice. And the name of the dog was Nipper, Nipper, Nipper. Okay, that's the end of round one. Let me know how you went in the comments. What was the answer to number 15? Says Nikki. The answer to number 15. Did I miss it? Nope. In the UK version of Monopoly, what color is Fleet Street? The answer is red. The color red. Fünf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pierrot got 5 points. Kim got 14. 13 for Stephen. 13 for Simone. 13 for Matt. I'm seeing a pattern forming here. 15 for Narelle, part of a much larger pattern. And Peter got 16, which is pretty good. Nikki got 12. 11 for Carmen and John. That's all right. You can make it up in the second round. Hello, Jill, Joan, and Chris. 17 together. That's pretty good. 3 brains working together. Stephen says, even from the hospital bed, she beats me. Yes. Anyway, that's how it goes. All right, let's get started with round 2. Maybe there'll be more. I just realized something interesting, that there is a repeated couple of questions. I'll have to unmangle that. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Why is that doing that? Okay, there's not going to be 11 questions in the final. What am I going to do? I'm going to move this. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, it's had a bit of confusion there. 2 of my questions were repeated, so we had not quite enough questions. Okay, I'm going to have to make it slightly American-centric at the end of this round. That's fine. Good, all sorted. You didn't even notice. All right, round 2, question 1. Where's that gone? That's going to annoy me. Go away. Okay, good. Round 2, question 1. The opening line of which novel is "The great fish moved silently through the night water"? propelled by short sweeps of its crescent tail. Round 2, question 1. The opening line of which novel is "The great fish moved silently through the night water, propelled by short sweeps of its crescent tail"? Question 2. Which fictional material from his home planet apparently drains Superman of his powers? Question 2. Which fictional material from his home planet apparently drains Superman of his powers? Question 3. Angles of greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees are called what? You know, there's different types of angles. They have names for the different types. What type of angle is greater than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees? Question 4. Which TV reality show has the motto "Outwit, outplay, outlast"? Round 2, question 4. Which TV reality show has the motto "Outwit, outplay, outlast"? Question 5. Which major Australian port city is at the mouth of the Swan River? Question 5. Which major Australian port city is at the mouth of the Swan River? Question 6. In the comic strip Peanuts, what is the name of the small yellow bird befriended by Snoopy? Question 6. In the comic strip Peanuts, what is the name of the small yellow bird befriended by Snoopy? I got asked that at trivia night once, and I think it was one of those questions where I was literally banging my head on the table trying to remember the name of the small yellow bird. I did get it in the end, but it's very annoying when you know something, but you just can't get it out of your brain. Question 7. What is the official language of Iran? Question 7. What is the official language of Iran? Stephen says, that's me every Tuesday night. There is genuinely a technique for it. I find if I consciously think of something else, it's like it unplugs the memory tubes or something. It gives my brain something else to think about, and the answer will just pop into my head. But I have to consciously turn my attention to something else in my brain, and then it'll just pop out a short time later. Or I can just bang my head on the table and complain. Question 8. Budgie the Little Helicopter is a character in a series of children's novels, well, children's books, let's not call them novels, written by which ex-royal? Ex-royal narrows it down quite a bit. Question 8. Question 8. Budgie the Little Helicopter is a character in a series of children's books written by which ex-royal? I'll give you a minute or a few seconds to catch up on those. Well, I check in on the Facebook page and make sure nobody's asking how to... Oops, somebody is posting on the Facebook page. Lance and Gail got 17 in round 1. Okay, good. As long as you're not asking how to find the quiz, that's good. And Google thinks I'm talking to it. Go away, Google. Stop it. I didn't say that. Okay, good. Question 9. Who provided the voices for Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear from the Muppets, Cookie Monster, Bert and Grover from Sesame Street, and Yoda from Star Wars? They're all played by one voice actor, one voice person. So who was that person? Question 9. Who provided the voices for Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear from the Muppets, Cookie Monster, Bert and Grover from Sesame Street, and Yoda from Star Wars? Who provided all those voices? I think that person passed away recently. Oh, still going. Simone has some supplemental trivia. In the Empire Strikes Back video game, Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, voiced the Yoda avatar. Wonder why they didn't get this person to do it, given this person is still alive. Anyway, that's not the question. Question 10. Bergen, 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 I think it's a brand of bread, but anyway, Bergen is the second largest city in which country? They've been unavailable, so Mark did it. Yeah, well, you got to say that it's not like Mark's ever been unavailable. I know it's a cruel comparison, but you think about the career of Mark Hamill post Star Wars, and you think of Harrison Ford post Star Wars. Mark is very in demand as a voice actor. There you go. Okay, we got a bit confused and sidetracked there. So Pierrot wants to know, what was the last question? Last question, I think you mean number 10, was Bergen, Bergen, is the second largest city in which country? Good, still correct. Question 10, Bergen is the second largest city in which country? I know I haven't read the last question because we're not up to the last question yet. Simone says, Harrison Ford plays Harrison Ford all the time. Come on, man. He's the star of Blade Runner. It's the greatest film ever made. You're not going to win this argument. Question 11. In Western musical notation, what name is given to the 5 horizontal lines and 4 spaces that each represent a musical pitch? Simone says, no, you won't. Yeah, but I have the ability to silence people in the comments, and you don't, but I won't do that. Question 11 was, in Western musical notation, what name is given to the 5 horizontal lines and 4 spaces that each represent a musical pitch? So, sheet music, standard Western sheet music, it's 5 lines, 4 spaces. What do you call that collection of 5 lines and 4 spaces? It is a particular thing. So I'm talking about the thing as a whole. What's that whole thing called? Far out. Okay, we got a bit confused there. So let's just have a quick run through. Question 9 was, who provided the voices for all those people? Question 10 was, Bergen is the second largest city in which country? And question 11 was, what name's given to the musical thing? Okay. Question 12, who was the Greek goddess of wisdom, courage, civilization, law, justice, mathematics, strength, war strategy, the arts, crafts, and skill? Question 12, who was, it's one of those politicians who's picked up basically everything in their portfolio. Question 12, who was the Greek goddess of wisdom, courage, civilization, law, justice, mathematics, strength, war strategy, the arts, crafts, and skill? Women are very good at multitasking, says Simone. True enough. I think that's a very sexist comment for 2020, but I guess I'll just have to allow it. Question 13. What name is given to the 243-kilometre stretch of road between the Victorian cities of Torquay, or Torquay, I don't know how you pronounce it in Australia, and Allansford? That's Torquay, Torquay, and Allansford, Allansford. What name is given to the 243-kilometre stretch of road between the Victorian cities of Torquay and Allansford? Are they cities? I think they're probably towns. But anyway, it's quite a famous stretch of road between those two places in Victoria. What name is given to that bit of road? Does that count as geography? City planning? Question 14. What is the name of the highest mountain in the Alps? Question 14. What is the name of the highest mountain in the Alps? Two geography questions in a row. Norelle wants to know if she has to get the spelling right for the Greek goddess. Unless you're spelling it in the original Greek. No, I think if you get the vibe of the thing, I think if it's phonetically correct, that's good enough for me. So question 14 was, what is the name of the highest mountain in the Alps? Question 15, which Australian motorcycle racer won the 500cc World Championship 5 times in a row, all racing for Honda? Question 15, which Australian motorcycle racer won the 500cc World Championship 5 times in a row, all racing for Honda? It's very confusing having Norelle arguing with Norelle in the comments, but that's fine. That's all part of the fun. Question 16. KLM is the national airline of which country? Question 16. KLM is the national airline of which country? Does that count as geography? I am honestly not stacking the rounds with geography questions in the hope of Stephen beating Norelle. It just happens this one has a few in it. Question 17. Who played Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings films? It's helping. Question 17. Who played Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings films? Right, now we got a little confused with questions being repeated in here. Well, nobody else did, but I did. For some reason, I had copied and pasted 2 questions. So we were missing 2 questions. So I've sort of had to make one up on the fly, and it is this. Question 18 is, if the US president and vice president are killed, who then becomes president? Well, they don't have to be killed. I suppose they could just die. The question is, what's the order of succession? Obviously, if the US president dies, then the vice president becomes the president. But let's say there's a tragic accident. The US president and the vice president both die simultaneously or become incapacitated. Good point. Who then assumes the presidency? And by that, I mean which role or which position, the person in which current position gets elevated to the position of president or acting president. So yeah, if the US president and vice president are incapacitated, say they both eat the fish, then which position gets elevated to the presidency? So that's which position. And then question 19, because we had to kind of wing it and make up a new question. Question 19 is which person, like which actual person or lizard, depending on how you view the world, would become president. Does that make sense? So question 18 is if the US president and vice president can't be president anymore, then who becomes president, as in the position? And then question 19 is if that happened today, which actual human person would become the acting president? So who's in that current position? Okay, slightly mangled, but I think we've managed to get away with it. So I'll let you unkink that one in your brains for a second, then we'll have the last question of round 2. Okay, question 20. For 1 point each, please name the 2 countries that have borders with Liechtenstein. And as usual, I'd like you to be honest with yourself and only write down 2. If you write down every country that you can think of, you probably get the 2 correct ones, but that would kind of be cheating, wouldn't it? In a real pub trivia, we'd probably take off half points for incorrect answers, but this time it's simply question 20 for 1 point each. Which 2 countries, another geography question, have borders with Liechtenstein? And that brings us to the end of round 2, or the question part anyway. I'll give you the answers in a moment. Cool. Yes, if you need any repeated, let me know. That would be good. Thank you, Kim. Question 19. Okay. So question 19 is kind of tangled up with question 18. So question 18 was, if the US president and vice president are killed, which position gets elevated to the presidency? So let's say the chief accountant. Maybe you think it's the chief accountant who gets promoted to the presidency. So I want the name of the position. That's question 18. Question 19 is, which actual human is currently, what's the name of the human who's currently in that position who would become president if the president and vice president get killed? Okay. So that's what question 19 is, the name of an actual person, whereas question 18 is just the name of a position within the government. Good. And question 20, you don't want. What do you want? Question 16 from Norel. Question 16 was KLM, Kilo Lima Mike, is the national airline of which country? KLM is the national airline of which country? Right, good. Why's my phone beeping? Somebody need a question repeated. Why is it telling me Facebook messages on my phone instead of telling me on this screen I have over here? Don't know, very strange. Anyway, good, fine. Okay, let's go through the answers to round 2 now. If that mysterious message was somebody trying to get a question repeated, sorry, just have a crack as I go along through the answers. So round 2, question 1, the opening line of which novel is "The great fish moved silently through the night water, propelled by short sweeps of its crescent tail"? Fairly easy, that one. Is Jaws by Peter Benchley. Jaws, not Moby Dick. Jaws. Elated Matt has a good feeling about round 2. Okay. Question 2. Which fictional material from his home planet apparently drains Superman of his powers? That is kryptonite. Kryptonite. Question 3. Angles of greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees, so not those, but those, are called what? They're called obtuse angles. Obtuse. Question 4. Which TV reality show has the motto "Outwit, outplay, outlast"? That is Survivor. in its many different flavors, but Survivor is the name of the show. Loosely described reality show. Anyway, question 5. Which major Australian port city is at the mouth of the Swan River? That is Fremantle, or Fremantle, or however you pronounce it. Fremantle. Question 6. In the comic strip Peanuts, what is the name of the small yellow bird befriended by Snoopy? Were you banging your head on the table as I was? It is, of course, Woodstock. Woodstock, as in the festival and the bourbon, is the answer to question 6. Question 7. What is the official language of Iran? It is Persian, but it's also known as Farsi or Parsi, Farsi or Parsi. So if you had the word Persian, because Iran used to be called Persia, obviously, Persian, Farsi, or Parsi, had any of those, you can have the point. Question 8. Budgie the Little Helicopter is a character in a series of children's books written by which ex-royal? There's not too many ex-royals who are still alive. Anyway, the answer is Sarah Ferguson, former Duchess of York. But yes, Sarah Ferguson. If you had Sarah, Duchess of York, that's fine. I don't know how the whole titles thing works. Question 9. Who provided the voices for Miss Piggy and Fozzie Bear, Cookie Monster, Bert, Grover, and Yoda? Excuse me. It was, of course, Frank Oz. O-Z. Frank Oz. Who am I thinking of who died recently who did lots of voices of people? Mel Blanc? He died a while ago. Anyway, don't know. Question 10. Bergen is the second largest city in which country? It is Norway. I was actually thinking Trondheim was the second biggest in Norway, but it turns out it is Bergen. Pretty sure Trondheim's in there as well. Anyway, the answer to question 10 is Norway. Question 11. In Western musical notation, what is that thingy called? It is called the staff or the stave. S-T-A-F-F or S-T-A-V-E. Staff or stave. Question 12. Who was the Greek goddess of all those things? That is Athena. A-T-H-E-N-A. Athena. But of course, like most goddesses, she has different names. She's also known as Thebe, Mycene, and Pallas. So Athena, Thebe, Mycene, or Pallas. P-A-L-L-A-S. Any of those will get you the point for question 12. Question 13. What name is given to that big long stretch of road between those two Victorian places? That is the Great Ocean Road. The Great Ocean Road. It was built by returned soldiers between 1919 and 1932, and it was dedicated to soldiers killed during World War I, making it the world's largest war memorial. There you go. The Great Ocean Road. Narelle thought it was Halpheus. Never heard of her. Question 14. What is the name of the highest mountain in the Alps? That is Mont Blanc. M-O-N-T space B-L-A-N-C, which I'm guessing just means White Mountain. Not very imaginative, but anyway, Mont Blanc. Question 15. Which Australian motorcycle racer, etc.? That is Mick Doohan. Mick Doohan won it 5 times in a row, all racing for Honda. And I think that was all 5 of those were after he basically had his leg taken off and stitched back on. Anyway, KLM is the national airline of which country? It is the Netherlands. If you said Holland, all right. I think Holland's a region of the Netherlands, but anyway, it's a common mistake. So the Netherlands is the answer. Supplemental fact, pretty sure Bruce Dickinson, who's the lead singer of Iron Maiden, is also a KLM pilot. Flies 747s for them. Cool. Anyway, question 17. Who played Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings films? That is Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood. Question 18. We enter our somewhat mangled question 18-19 zone. So, Question 18 was, if the US president and vice president are killed, who becomes president? And I wanted the position. So the person who becomes president is the Speaker of the House. Noelle said, wow. I'm assuming that's my supplemental Iron Maiden fact that's made her say, wow. So yeah, the answer to question 18 is the Speaker of the House. And question 19, who is it currently? It is currently Nancy Pelosi, Pelosi. So the answer to question 18 is the Speaker of the House. And the answer to question 19 is Nancy Pelosi. Like a bit of Iron Maiden. Yep, partial to it myself. Question 20, for 1 point each. Which two countries have borders with Liechtenstein? Stephen says, that's one way to get a woman in the White House. Yeah, a little drastic, but, you know. Question 20, which two countries have borders with Liechtenstein? That is Switzerland and Austria. Switzerland and Austria for 1 point each. Okay, that's the end of round 2. How did you go? Pierrot got 7 points. You've given up on the German. Sieben, I think, is 7. So, yes, that's the end of round 2. Let me know how you went. And in a minute or so, we'll get started on round 3. Jill, Joe, and Chris, 19. Pretty good. Pierrot got squiggly backwards T thing points. Don't know what that means. Simone got 12. Nikki got 8. Nerol got 13 again. Matt got 15. Oh, sorry, that's Steve who got 13. Stephen, I should say. Pierrot got 7 in Chinese and Japanese. That's very helpful. Kim, 12. Norel, 15. She beat you by 2 this round, even with all the geography. Half the questions were geography. Anyway, Karma got 13. And John. Hello, John. Okay. That's okay. It's all good fun. Stephen says, hopefully there's 11 geography questions in round 3. Well, actually, we're down to only 10 questions because I had to borrow one and break it apart for 18 and 19, which I did so smoothly that nobody noticed. So we're back to 10 questions in round 3. As usual, these are fairly difficult / tricky / silly. So if you get any points in this round, you're doing pretty well. If you're staring blankly at your screen, that's fine. That's a normal feeling for round 3. Okay, round 3, question 1. The film Borat 2 was released recently. What is Borat's surname? And for a bonus point, what is his middle name? Now, obviously, I mean the character Borat. I don't mean Sacha Baron Cohen. The answers are not Baron and Cohen. So round 3, question 1. The film Borat 2, very nice, was released recently. What is Borat's surname? And for a bonus point, what is his middle name? I am halfway through watching Borat 2. Just like the first movie, I am laughing, and then I have to pause it, and I have to leave the room and scream quietly and unkink all the cringiness. It's so cringy, I just can't handle it. I want to watch it. It's funny. I enjoy it, but it takes me like 3 days to watch it because I have to run away and hide. Norel is currently banging head on table. There you go. Just at the thought of Borat. Anyway, question 2. Speaking of goat, being greatest of all time. Speaking of greatest of all time, question 2, Lewis Hamilton this weekend passed Michael Schumacher's record of Formula One wins. How many wins does he now have? You were hoping I was going to ask for the capital of Kazakhstan. That would be Almaty, wouldn't it? I actually know someone from Kazakhstan. Is the capital Almaty? I think it used to be Almaty, but then it changed. I think I've got that wrong before. Yes, it used to be Almaty. Now it's Nur Sultan. is known as Astana. Oh, totally wrong. What am I thinking of with Almaty then? People get annoyed with this kind of stuff. But anyway, Almaty is the largest city in Kazakhstan. Come on, half a point. Okay, let's get back on track. I've got messages. Peter got 12 in round 2, and Gail and Lance got 17 again. Okay, let's get back on track. So question 1 was the film Borat 2 released recently. What is Borat's surname for a bonus point? What is his second name? Fine. Question 2, Lewis Hamilton recently passed Michael Schumacher's record of Formula One wins, just this weekend, in fact. How many wins does he now have? So in terms of wins, Lewis Hamilton is now the most successful driver in all of Formula One history. That used to belong to Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher has retired from racing and has unfortunately got some major health issues at the moment. But anyway, he had a certain number of wins. Lewis Hamilton has now got one more than Michael Schumacher, making him the most successful. How many is that? How many wins does he have? No. Norel says, can I pay a point? Or Stephen says, can I pay a point if I'm within 5? No, this is round 3. There's no hand grenades and horseshoes here. You got to get it right. Question 3. What is the more common name for an epistaxis? What is the more common name for an epistaxis? E-P-I-S-T-A-X-I-S. E-P-I-S-T-A-X-I-S. Epistaxis. It has a more common name. What is the more common name for an epistaxis? Even Norel says, no, you can't have a point for being close. Except for this next question, where you can have a point for being close. Because the question is, question 4, to the nearest 50 meters, how tall is Uluru? So it has an official height. I guess there's no, does sea level or anything. It's like the height of the Harbour Bridge depends on sea level and all that. But for Uluru, I guess it's as tall as it is. So question 4, to the nearest 50 meters, how tall is Uluru? Pierre would like to lose a point. Yes, you can lose a point if you like. You can lose a point for answering in strange characters earlier. So question 4, to the nearest 50 meters, how tall is Uluru? So make your answer a multiple of 50. Does that make sense? To the nearest 50 meters. Question 5, who designed the winged keel first used on the America's Cup winning Australia 2 yacht and since seen on various other high-performance sailboats? It was a very big deal. 1983, I think, Australia 2 won the America's Cup, breaking the longest ever run of sporting succession. Yes, so who designed that winged keel that was the subject of much controversy? Question 6. Here's another closest one. We're getting close answers all the time. Question 6. In which decade was the Esky portable cooler first introduced by Malleys, the original Sydney manufacturer? Question 6. In which decade was the Esky portable cooler first introduced by Malleys, the original Sydney manufacturer? Question 7. Which New South Wales regional city was, in 1888, The first place in Australia to use electric street lighting. Round 3 question, that one. Question 7. Which New South Wales regional city was, in 1888, the first place in Australia to use electric street lighting? Question 8. Bart Cummings was known as the Melbourne Cup King because his horses won the event how many times? That's in total, obviously. Bart Cummings was known as the Melbourne Cup King. How many times did he or his horses win the Melbourne Cup? And for a bonus point, what was the name of his horse that won it twice? So question 8, Bart Cummings was known as the Melbourne Cup King because his horses won the event how many times? And for a bonus point, what was the name of his horse that won it twice? Stephen's making a comeback. Could all happen in round 3. All right, question 9. Slightly wishy-washy question. Anyway, question 9. In 1978, Japan suffered a national shortage of 100 yen coins. According to a popular urban myth, what was taking so many coins out of circulation? Question 9. In 1978, Japan suffered a national shortage of 100 yen coins. According to a popular urban myth, what was taking so many coins out of circulation? I'll let you think about that one for a minute. Still slightly annoyed at myself for not getting the capital of Kazakhstan because I got that wrong in the past. I got it wrong exactly the same way. Oh yes, Japan trivia, says Pierrot. Do you know the answer to this one, I wonder? Anyway, question 10, the last question of round 3. Australian Felix Zemdegs, I'll spell that in a minute, is the only person to have won 2 world championships in what? Question 10. Australian Felix Zemdegs, F-E-L-I-K-S, space Z-E-M-D-E-G-S, Felix Zemdegs, is the only person to have won 2 world championships in what? So by that I mean he's the only person who's ever been twice crowned world champion of what sport or activity or whatever. Elated Matt thinks he knows the answer to one of the questions in round 3, I assume. Right. Does anybody need any of those repeated? There's only 10 questions in round 3, and I think you should be thankful. Okay, that's probably enough thinking time. Narelle would like question 5 repeated. It was, who designed the winged keel first used on the America's Cup winning Australia 2 and since seen on various other high-performance sailboats? Spotty internet. So spotty it made you get your question numbers wrong. Okay, question 4 was, to the nearest 50 meters, how tall is Uluru? Also known as Ayers Rock, or possibly formerly known as Ayers Rock. Don't know. Anyway, how tall is Uluru to the nearest 50 meters? So make your answer a multiple of 50. Okay, let's go through the answers to round 3. Question 1, the film Borat 2 has a much longer title than that. But anyway, the film Borat 2 was released recently. What is Borat's surname? Okay, his surname is Sagdiev. Sagdiev. He sort of pronounces it Sagadiev. But anyway, the answer is Sagdiev. And for a bonus point, what is his middle name? His middle name is Margaret. I'm sure there's a story there. It's possibly explained in the first film or in the rest of the second film that I haven't seen yet. But anyway, his surname is Sagdiev and his middle name is Margaret. Question 2. Lewis Hamilton now holds the record for number of Formula One wins. How many wins does he now have? He now has 92 wins. So whether or not you like the guy and whether or not you think he happens to be in the best car and all that kind of stuff, he has got a lot of wins and he does beat his teammate all the time. So it's not just the car. Anyway, question 3. The answer to question 2 is 92. Question 3, what is the more common name for an epistaxis? An epistaxis is a nosebleed. Narelle said 91. Stephen said 91. If only we were given points for being close. What's the more common name for an epistaxis? That's a nosebleed. Question 4, to the nearest 50 meters, how tall is Uluru? It is officially 348 meters high. So to the nearest 50 meters, it is 350 meters high. So the answer is 350. I think with something like winds, like where it's an absolute number, it's got to be the number. It's got to be 92. Sorry. Question 5. Who designed the winged keel? First seen on yada yada. That was Ben Lexen. Lexcen. Ben Lexen. Interestingly, he was born Robert Clyde Miller, but changed his name to Ben Lexen. Don't know why. I imagine it's on his wiki page. But the answer is Ben Lexen. Lexcen. Question 6. In which decade was the Esky portable cooler first introduced by Malleys, the original Sydney manufacturer? The actual year is 1952. So if you said the 1950s, you can have a point. Question 7. Which New South Wales regional city was in 1888 the first place in Australia to use electric street lighting? Don't know why this place was the first. Again, you could probably browse through the wiki page and find out why. It is Tamworth. Tamworth. Tamworth in New South Wales was the first place in Australia to use electric street lighting. It's also very horsey out there. Is it also the country music capital? Is that what I'm thinking of? Anyway. Question 8. Bart Cummings was known as the Melbourne Cup King because his horses won the event how many times? His horses won the event 12 times. 12 Melbourne Cups. And for a bonus point, what was the name of the horse that won it twice? Well, it won in 1974 and 1975, and it was called Think Big. So the answer is 12, and the bonus point is Think Big. Smiley face from Narelle. She got one of them right. Question 9. In 1978, Japan suffered a national shortage of 100 yen coins. According to a popular urban myth, what was taking so many coins out of circulation? Well, in June of that year, Space Invaders machines were launched in Japan to great success. They used a 100 yen coin to play, and it is thought that they were so successful that they basically sucked all the 100 yen coins out of the circulation. So the answer to question 9 is Space Invaders machines. If you said arcade machines or video game machines, that's probably okay, but Space Invaders was the first successful one, I guess. And question 10, Australian Felix Zemdegs, I'll be very impressed if anyone got this, is the only person to have won 2 world championships in what? The answer is speed cubing, the sport of solving Rubik's Cubes and similar puzzles as quickly as possible. If you said Rubik's Cubes, that's fine. Speed cubing, Rubik's Cubes, anything like that. He was the champion. 2 world championships in a row, he was the champion. So he's the only person who's ever done it. Twice. Simone got Rubik's Cube. Huzzah! Okay, that's the end of round 3. Let me know how you went in the comments, and then we'll have Who Am I questions. Stephen got 3, not enough. Total 29. 1 point for Pierrot, and I think we know which one it was. Nikki got 3. Norel says, wouldn't the coins just go back into circulation? I guess so, but I mean, some of them would be in the machines for some time and collected by the people who empty the machines, and you got to take them to the bank and all that, I guess. Anyway, it's kind of an urban myth, but it's a cool story. Simone got 4. Kim got 7. Jill got, with Joan and Chris, got 5. Thank goodness for Bart Cummins, says Stephen. Lady Mac got 2. Norel got 2. Carmen got 3. And we got totals. I don't know what the possible total maximum score is, as always. Don't know. But you've all done pretty well. As long as you had fun, that's all that matters. Okay, let's go through the Who Am I questions. I'll quickly explain how it works. We're going to have Who Am I questions. You can use the first one as a tiebreaker if you like. And this is the only question that you are encouraged to type your answer into the YouTube comments as you go along. Yeah, so I'm going to read out clues about a person, place, year, whatever, something. And as I go along, if you think you know the answer, you can have a crack at it. If you get it right, you win the tiebreaker. If you get it wrong, you lose the tiebreaker. The other person wins. So you need to be quick, but you must be correct. Simone says James is lagging or something. Oh no. Anyway, all I'm doing is explaining how Who Am I works, and I'm pretty sure Simone knows how the Who Am I works. So I'm going to do 2. The first one is the official tiebreaker, and then there's just, I don't know, a second one for whatever reason. YouTube is not telling me I'm lagging out or my connection's bad, so hopefully it's all working fine still. If you can let me know in the comments if you can still hear me okay. Can you hear me okay still? I am typing. Unless my grumpy teenager has unplugged the router to teach me a lesson. But I don't think so. Yep. A whole bunch of people can still hear me. Good. All right, let's go through the Who Am I? Who am I? I was born in 1908, about 200 kilometers north of Adelaide. When I was 10, my family moved to Adelaide so my 2 sisters and I could attend school. At 13, I left school and returned to the land. I became a camel driver by 18, spent 3 years trekking through the desert, living with Aborigines and learning how to survive the harsh conditions. During the Great Depression, I returned to Adelaide and married, working on the land with my wife in the Flinders Ranges. My marriage collapsed in the 1950s, and I bought 55 hectares at the rear of Yatala Labour Prison, constructed a homestead, planted vineyards and thousands of roses. My land was compulsorily acquired by the state government, and I left South Australia vowing never to return. I remarried in 1955, had 4 more children, and died in my home on the Darling Downs in Queensland. I had learned leatherworking skills, making bridles, pack saddles, and riding boots, and in 1932 I had begun selling saddles to Sir Sidney Kidman, a wealthy pastoralist. I soon had a small factory running in my father's back shed. I founded my company the same year and ran it until 1988. It has grown into a global company employing 600 people with 50 retail stores and 900 stockists, exporting to 15 countries. Our most recognized product is still our handmade riding boots, made from a single piece of leather stitched at the rear of the boot with elasticated side panels. I am Reginald Murray Williams, more commonly known as R.M. Williams. That one popped into my head because, of course, that company was acquired recently by Twiggy Forrest, bringing it back to Australian soil. Was it overseas? Don't know. Anyway, it was recently acquired, so it was in the news. It's always interesting to find out the name of a company that has someone's, person's name. It's actually a real person with a real history. But anyway, that was our tiebreaker. And now we're just going to have another one. Just for kicks. Why not? Okay, so who am I? I am a city. The first written records of me appear in 1135. I was a well-fortified outpost where a smaller river flows into a major one. In 1186, Count Adolf VIII of Berg granted me town status. In 1380, I became the regional capital of the Duchy of Berg. I am the 7th largest city in my country. I was the target of strategic bombing during World War II, particularly by the RAF in 1943, when over 700 bombers were used in a single night. I was captured by the US 97th Infantry Division in April 1945. I was made the capital of the new state of North Rhine-Westphalia in 1946. Reconstruction proceeded at a frantic pace, leading to economic growth and transformation. Today, nearly 600,000 people live within the city limits and over 1.5 million in the larger urban zone. Culturally, I am known for my Academy of Fine Arts, among more than 20 other institutions of higher education, as well as my pioneering influence on electronic and experimental music, including the band Kraftwerk. I am also the home of Altbier, a traditional type of beer. Mercer's 2012 Quality of Living Survey listed me 6th in the world. 8 bridges span the Rhine here, and the Ruhr is a major river to the north, but I am named for the smaller river which splits into a delta here. That river is the Dussel. I am Dusseldorf. Did anyone get Dusseldorf? There's a whole bunch of German cities flying through the comments. I see R.M. Williams, and then nope. I don't see any Dusseldorfs in the comments. Well, there you go. Dresden. If it was going to be Dresden, I would have mentioned the firebombing and all that horrible stuff that happened to Dresden. But it was Dusseldorf, the capital of North Rhine-Westphalia and the 7th largest city in Germany. There you go. Well, hope you had fun. That's the end of the quiz for tonight. Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I will post the event on Facebook with more notice this time. Jill Barrett is still hitting her head on desk for Dr. Evil. Wow, that's painful. That was question 1. That's been a lot of head banging. Well, Norelle, I hope you go well with your inner tubing. That's, I hope it all goes well with your procedure and you recover quickly and it's not too much of a drama for you. No idea, Norelle. Stephen, sorry, no idea when things will go back to normal, really, or if they ever will. We'll just see how we go. I'm quite enjoying doing it online, so we'll keep sticking with it for a while, I suppose. I'm still just drawing from a very large pile of questions I built up over the years, so it's not too much effort for me to put the rounds together, really. That's why sometimes I'm as surprised as you are when the questions come up, because I'm just kind of grabbing them in great handfuls from a huge text document that I have. Anyway, glad you're having fun. Stay safe. And see you all next week, hopefully. Tell a friend. More people is always good. Bye.